Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This topic is a heavy topic, but I felt the need to, I can't say a need, I just wanted to speak about it because being a Bajan, Barbadian, Caribbean, person, I find people can be very harsh about the topic, and it really, to me, it is very simple. Do you want kids? Yes. No. To me, it shouldn't really go any further than that. Mind your business. Stay out people business. And sometimes people say some very hurtful comments, and because of the Caribbean nature, people don't realize how hurtful it can be. And hence why I wanted to talk about it. I don't have to, because like I said, mind your business, stay out people business, but I don't mind being open about it, especially on this platform, because I would actually love to open a discussion about it. So you can, drop a comment, let me know where you're from, how you feel about having kids, and if you don't, what what are some of the questions or the rebuttals that you have. What sort of questions do people follow up with? I'm very curious to hear. So without any further ado, the reasons why I don't want kids, honestly, the list is a mile long. I am a pessimist slash a realist, self-diagnosed, but I am the type of person, I see myself as a realist, but other people have told me that I'm a pessimist. But the way I see things, I like to process it in my head. I like to think of all outcomes so that when it does happen, I'm like, I already knew. I already knew. I prepared myself for it. Perfect example, come out of an exam thinking like, yes, like I got an A, nailed it, and then I got a C. I would never forget. And it was very disappointing because I really thought I did well. Versus, I came out of the exam, it could go either way, but I just hope that I pass. And then I got a B, and I'm like, girl, you know what I mean? So that is how I choose to get through life. So the reason why I don't want kids, like I say, it's a mile long because of that mentality, and because in my mind I've just thought of all of these outcomes. And my mother has always told me, Corey, you scare yourself silly, reading all of these things about pregnancy and childbirth. And I can admit to you, I am scared as beep. Like I have scared myself into not wanting to have kids. So I will start off there. My one of the reasons why I don't want kids is because I am afraid. I'm very afraid. Secondly, money, time. I feel like there's not enough time in the day between working full time, and that's 10 to 12 hours sometimes. Then coming home to sew bonnet. Sometimes I wake up and sew, go to work, come home, sew, go to bed, and it's just a cycle. Saturdays I'm usually out and about running errands. I help out with my grandparents, and then Sunday is literally the only day to myself. So time, where is this time gonna come from? Patience. I am very impatient. I'm not really into astrology or whatever, but as an Aries, I am very impatient. And I've seen that pop up, here and there, and that's one thing that I can agree with. I'm a very impatient person. And with children, you need patience. I don't like loud noises. I like being in control. That's another big one. I like being in control. And with children, it's like, when I think children, I think chaos. You know what I mean? Then you also have an issue where I find people say, oh, just have a child, and as soon as you hold your child, everything will make sense. Everything will fade away. You're going to forget about the pain, and everything's going to be okay. But what I think some people forget is that there's a percentage of women, I don't know the actual percentage, because obviously it depends on the region and whatever, but there is a percentage of women who have postpartum depression. It can be so extreme, they either take their own life, or take their child's life, or you just sit there and have to endure the postpartum depression. So to say that to have a child and it will be different, and have a child and you'll definitely change your mind, that's not guaranteed. That's not guaranteed. And the way I feel so strongly about it, I don't want to find out the hard way. You know what I mean? So I would rather not have children and regret that than to have a child and regret that. Like, you see what I'm saying? So I'm 34. My boyfriend also doesn't want children, and that's also something that I mentioned up front. You know, I'm in my 30s. It's almost 3 years for us. So when I met him, I was already in my 30s, but I knew I was at the stage where I was ready to, settle down per se, and I'm not gonna waste time without getting certain questions out in the open. And I asked him very early on, even before we were official, how he felt about kids. So that's something I also feel people need to do. If you remember, what is her name? There is a host on The Real, Jenny May. I think that's how you pronounce it. And she didn't want kids. Her husband didn't want kids. And 10 years into the marriage, he decided he wanted to have kids. And, they divorced. And I remember some people in the comments were saying, oh, she should have just had the child for him. And I'm like, that is such a huge decision. That is literally a lifetime decision. To say she should just have it to save her marriage, I'm like, whoa, I cannot wrap my head around that. Before I, close off the video, I wanted to add just a very quick anecdote. When I was 16, I attended my first wedding, and random fact, that's literally the only wedding I've been to. I've never been to any other wedding since then. So I know a lot of people, have been bridesmaids. I went to X amount of weddings. I have been to one wedding when I was 16, and that was it so far. So when I was at the wedding, I remember I told my mother, I don't want kids and I don't want to get married because, and she was like, why? And I said, kids are too much work and marriage is so permanent. I must say, no, now that I'm older, my views on marriage have changed. I would say I'm kind of neutral on the subject. I could get married, that would be nice, but if I don't, that's okay too. I'm not one of those people who's kind of hung up on like I have to get married and that's like a goal of mine. It could go either way. I'm not that fussed about it. But when it comes to kids, I pretty much always felt that way. I had with my first boyfriend, that puppy love. He wanted to get married, he wanted to have kids, and my mindset was like I would do anything for this man, and I was ready to pop out like 3 to 5 children. That's what I wanted. That's what I thought I wanted. And it turns out that without getting too deep in my business, he actually wanted a housewife, and I have a master's. So I remember asking him, so like I have 2 degrees to just to be a stay-at-home mom. Like that in itself is hard work. Like kudos to the stay-at-home moms, but that was not in my vision. I want to work. I enjoy working. I'm a creative person. I did not see myself being a full-time stay-at-home mom. It's not in me. That's not the main reason we broke up, but looking back, I'm glad it didn't work out, and we're cordial, we're okay. So seeing this is not going to be new information for him, but looking back, I'm glad it didn't work out because I don't think I would have been happy being a stay-at-home mom. So after that relationship ended, I basically kind of went back to the mindset like I really don't see children in my future, and there's nothing wrong with that. My boyfriend has a very cute dog, and that's my little stepdaughter, and I personally see myself with 2 to 3 dogs in my future, and that's that. And I just hope that maybe somebody here who's watching who may have said something hurtful or judgmental to somebody who doesn't want kids, stop and think that maybe the person doesn't want to share the reasons why. I've shared with you my reasons why for the most part. My godmother has 5 dogs, no children, and I aspire to be like that, and I feel like I'm so much like her in so many ways besides the dogs. But I can see it around me. I see people with children who are happy. I see people with just, you know, their little fur babies who are happy. So I think I'll be very happy with fur babies. I could change my mind. I don't know. I'm still young. I'm 34. But I'm pretty sure that I won't have children. And so a message to anybody out there, maybe if you're watching this video, just be careful with your comments because you don't know the reasons. I share with you my reasons, but some people might have other reasons that they do not wish to share. And, you know, asking people certain questions can be very touchy. I know someone who had an ectopic pregnancy. It was a very painful process, and it has scarred her mentally as well as physically to the point where she does not want children because she has a fear of, you know, of having another ectopic pregnancy or just having a difficult pregnancy. You have people who cannot have children and they do not want to adopt or foster. They want to have their own biological child. So it's a biological child or nothing at all. There are so many reasons. You may have women out there who had 3 and 4 miscarriages and like, well, you ain't got no children yet. Well, you don't have a child before your eggs dry up, you know, stuff like that. So just please be mindful of what you're asking and what you're saying and what judgment you're casting on people who don't want or people who don't have kids and they're like a certain age. That's another thing. You can have children young, you have children old, you know. So yeah, like I said earlier in the video, I'm hoping to open the discussion, you know, on my page, and I'm definitely looking forward to see some of your comments, your questions. So yeah, have a great day and see you on the next video. Bye.